Hello everyone, this is Shadowlight Reviews here, and we're going to be taking a look at this Touch Aqua made by Bitspower Kit. This is a water cooling kit ready for your beginner first custom loop. I have actually never built a custom loop before, but I'm very prepared for this. The only reason I got this kit was because it was on such a good discount, or just such at a good price, that you really can resist it. It's fully copper, it comes with a DDC and a pretty nice pump. So that's why I was so attracted to it. It costs $250 and it has fully digital RGB, which would be great for my builds that I'm going to be doing with this, including future case reviews. It includes compression fittings also, which is very nice, and all sorts of mounting for my AMD CPU, which I'm going to be needing for my testing setup. There's a video on my testing setup. So anyway, we're going to open this kit. Right, we're going to start right here. Then we're going to start right here. And then I'm going to take both of my hands and just open this up. Alright, so I'm going to try to take this top off. Uh-oh, it looks like there's some kind of glue or something holding this on. I actually have experience with this kit in the past, and it was doing this also. So I may have to just cut this off. This is starting to get a bit out of hand, or I can find a way to do it. Anyway, while I'm trying to do this, I'll explain the backstory of the reason why I'm doing an unboxing this kit right now. So basically what we got it off. So basically what happened with this kit in the past is that my other kit actually broke, so I had to return it. And I thought, instead of doing something else and just using it in another build, I'll show this off to you, because this is going to be my new testing setup, and I'll get to some other parts I got in the past for some upcoming projects that involve water cooling. So let's open this baby up. Alright, so here you have your directions. Here, let me focus that all for you. It comes with everything you need, including coolant, which is very nice, so you don't even need any kind of distilled water. This includes everything you need to get started, all your stuff. Alright, so let's get started with this coolant. This is pellucid coolant. It seems to just be I actually checked the stuff out by past kit. It just seems to be a kind of propylene glycol mixture, which is very good for beginner custom loops, because you won't have to deal with any kind of corrosion or anything, especially with bacteria getting into your loop. So let's put this back. There's another piece in here ready. Here we have the Bitspower, this is the mounting plate for the reservoir, and we'll get, for the DDC pump res combo, which is very useful. You mount this on a 120mm fan mount, and this will get you all up and going. Also, this coolant is 500 milliliters, so you could have a full liter of coolant ready. This should be enough for your, one of these should be enough for your whole loop. Maybe mix some distilled water in there. Anyway, we're going to get started with the DDC pump reservoir combo. So we're going to open this. Let's see how I can get this open the easiest. It's a very nice reservoir, and I'll show you around some of the features. Anyway, let's tear this open. Get the tape off. This is very irritating packaging, at least in my opinion, but I'm going to keep this so it's more representative of what you all will experience. And this video will be done quicker, and people want to see a video, especially some of the people in my Discord, which, by the way, join. It's called the Landlords. There will be an invite in the description of this video. We're about to hit 200 members, actually, so if you want to become our 200 member, why don't you stop by? We're generally pretty active. Anyway, let's get this pump res out. It seems to almost be out now. Wait 1 second. Alright, this pump reservoir is very nice looking. There's a DDC pump right here, which is a very nice pump made by Lang. If you don't know who Lang is, I'm very surprised. They're the ones who also make the D5s, which are very good pumps, especially. This actually has a more pressure than a D5, and they're generally much cheaper too. On the top you have the cover, which you can take the reservoir off. Here's where you're supposed to put your inlet into the reservoir. I'll actually have some pictures on request that I can show you all. Touch Aqua logo. This is Bitspower, so pretty awesome. Right here you have a 4-pin connector, PWM, so you can get more control. Here we have an ARGB, digital RGB, whatever you would like to call it, kind of connector. So that will be very good for lighting. I've tried this and it creates awesome effects. You can actually take this off and just use this as a standalone pump if you really wanted to, because there's a G1/4 port right there which you can use. There's also some very good quality O-rings in here, which I checked out. Anyway, so let's move on to the block, because I find that to be probably the most necessary, one of the most important parts. So it comes in this vacuum sealed wrap, which is very good for keeping everything clean and upkept. So let me open this with our knife. You may even hear a little hiss if you're lucky. No little hiss. So let's get this open. This is kind of like an MRE, especially the packaging. I'm just going to be putting it all right next to us. This is the Touch Aqua block. This is a very high quality AM board block, at least from what I've seen. Like, I know some people who can't even stand EK and they say that their stuff is absolute garbage, but it really depends. A few people in my Discord server say that, but I'll have to put that to my test myself. So here it even has a jet plate included, so basically what will happen is the water will go down, there's a little line right here, and it'll blast it through the cold plate with the microfins, and that will have better cooling. So right here, I'll show you right here, you even have a cold plate, or not the cold plate, I mean the back plate, which should be ready. Sadly, it does not use the stock AM4 back plate, which I would have liked, but meh, it's okay, I guess. I've dealt with a lot worse. That would have been a lot nicer though, because the back plate on this is very fidgety, my last build. Anyway, let's have ARGB. Here, let me get this focused. If I can, we also have ARGB. So, I'll put that down so you can get all your effects through the RGB software that you're going to be using. Or you can use this controller, which I'll show you all. Open up. This is an anti-static bag, which is very nice. I highly recommend saving these because you can put M.2s in them. Anything. Uh-oh. Doorbell's ringing. I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, now, here's the RGB controller. Let me focus real quick. This is 8 ARGB ports with some settings for your mode, speed, and color. I can't remember the exact buttons. Here's your SATA port connector. I'm very glad they didn't use Molex, because I personally really can't be arsed to grab another Molex connector and connect it and having to cable manage another cable. In fact, this will help a lot with cable management, especially with with tons of other splitters. Right here you have a RGB connector where you can connect this to your motherboard. This cable, you plug it in right here. This actually seems like the same cable that they use for Corsair, like Corsair RGB fans, so that's actually quite interesting. I'll have to do some kind of tests on that to see if that does anything. This is the 3-pin 5-volt RGB. And anyway, we're going to go on to our next component, the radiator. So let me put this back real quick and give you a bit of backstory on this thing also. This thing actually has a lot of quality inside it. Like, I was actually genuinely impressed about how darn good this thing was and how well it performed and functioned. It's just a shame that my other one decided to fail on me. But well, actually what happened is how the block wasn't functioning, but these are actually only sold at Micro Center right now, and I just got a return. use that to not buy this product. It's a very quality product. Anyway, we're going to go on to the radiator. The radiator sits right here. Alright, now let's slide this rat out. This is a very nice radiator. It has the Touch Aqua logo right here. Has G 1/4 fittings right there, and it's fully copper. It's very well built. As you can see, I actually completely checked. It has a pretty decent FPI, fins per inch, which is very nice. You can actually see the indoors. And these fans that come with it are actually very good also, so I'm going to get a look at those. And if you're wondering what happened with my hands, I actually got a burn when I was cooking some food. But anyway, we're going to take a look at these fans. These also come in anti-static bags, which would be very useful, especially for storing other things that I have to do. Other things for projects, such as even some GPUs can fit in here. Here are the fans. They actually have some pretty good static pressure blades. Seems like the Bitspower logo is not, and it's going to shake a little bit, which kind of sucks. But meh, these are great blades. It's fully ARGB. I believe there's 8 LEDs inside this thing, so that'll be enough to have a Christmas tree on your desk. These are actually quite quiet also, which I was very impressed with these. So that was a very good feature of these. They're also PWM fans, so you can control these straight from your CPU header. But with this, I actually recommend using just a normal, just plugging your pump into the CPU header. Anyway, so we're going to show you these ARGB header. There's also an ARGB extender right here, which goes out to a 3-pin, so you can daisy chain these, which is a pretty awesome feature. Anyway, the other fan is the exact same right here. Anyway, we're going to get on to these fittings. Let me find the correct fitting. Here are dual fittings. These are Touch Aqua Bitspower. Anyway, we're going to open these up. Sorry, I had to take that out and open them with my mouth. These are also compression fittings, so they will do very well with any kind of blocks or anything, and they look very nice too. We're going to take a look at these. You want to focus on these? We're going to take them off. They have the compression part. You can see the barbs right here. You put your tubing on, and then you screw this in to hold it in place. These are very nice. Here you just have your normal G 1/4 port, and it has a very nice flexible O-ring, which is a very good to keep out leaks or anything. Just usually these don't, but it's just a last resort usually. It's a great feature, especially for a kit with as good of a price as this. And I'm going to put this back in the bag, so nothing. They're also chrome, so that's awesome for this. Now keep your system looking very nice. I'm going to keep them right here. You can see some other. Here's the mounting for the blocks. The mounting was pretty meh, and it has to use this hex, which is very, very annoying. Why can't it just use a Phillips head? Anyway, you can have this is just like a G 1/4 barb fitting, basically to fit the tubing, just so you can fill your loop, for example, in tight spaces. Right here you have a T-handle, so you can hook up a drain port. This is for draining your loop. It's a quality component. It's quite heavy actually, so that'll do whatever you need. There are caps in here to close off any open spaces, especially for the one on the pump. And here are more fittings. We am going to be putting these fittings back and these in there. And we're going to get going to the other part of this, which I will open up. So basically in this kit you have to take this off. As you can see, here are the other parts. The accessory kit, as you can see. And then we're going to have, here we have the tubing right here. It's very quality tubing, it doesn't kink very easily, so that's a very awesome feature of this, and they give you enough for a loop. It's also very nicely packaged. Too bad in my opinion, there's way too much packaging in here. And way too much waste in here, especially for environmental reasons. I really don't enjoy it. Anyway, we're going to have everything in here. I'll get to that later. I actually don't know this for. This seems like a tiny something to fill it, but there are no fittings in here that will work. I know it isn't a silicone sleeve because this is just plastic or rubber to hold it in. These are your reservoir mounts. They click into, or your pump res mounts. Clip them into place to get some very nice quality teeth. I can tell that these aren't going to break very easily. So you push these in, and then it'll lock in place and make sure your res does not fall. And I'll do a demo upon request. I'm going to put these right here. The packaging is also very nice, but just way too much of it. Well, it makes sense when you're water cooling, but meh. I'm going to take a look at this. Very tough baggie. You can see there are your radiator screws. There's a fan. There's our other screws mount your radiator. These are actually your fan screws. I'm sorry about that. Just a fan splitter. It's nice and braided too, which is a very nice. And I even see a lot of $100 coolers that don't have this. This is just for ARGB extensions to double them. Seem like more areas. I actually don't know what these are. There are nuts in here, or some bolts. So it's kind of interesting. Here's a pressure release valve. Kind of like what they have on the Deep Koya. I use now the anti-leak thing. It's just one of the. It's just a little balloon in there, and it expands and contracts depending on the pressure. It's pretty interesting. We have this. This is your wrench for installing your fittings. They actually have an area where you can wrench these in. Also we have some more screws right here. These really aren't that important from what I see. Anyway, I'm going to put all these back. And we are almost done with looking through this kit. And I'm going to show you some other awesome goodies that I have for water cooling testing. And I'm going to put these back. Put that back. Actually, there's another thing that I forgot to find. This is your tube of thermal paste, and it seems that they give you just enough to do an application. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that this is just OEM thermal paste, which kind of sucks. It would have been really awesome if they included like conductonaut or not conductonaut, I mean cryonaut. I believe EK does that, but this is a budget kit, so I really don't expect the absolute highest of quality. But they actually delivered on the quality side. Yeah, I'm gonna put the top back on, and I'm going to show you some other cool goodies that I'm using for water cooling builds. Anyway, I'm going to show you this radiator I just locally picked up. Got this at $10 for Micro Center. An open box radiator, 120mm. I'm actually thinking about doing a build with the Cooler Master Master Box Lite 5. And since this only has a 240 and also have this, I'm going to put this on the back. Use one of those RGB fans and the RGB fans on the front on this. I'm going to see if I can do push-pull on this, so that would be very awesome, especially from the RGB standpoint. It seems it's a brass radiator, so it's just a 90% copper, 10% zinc. That's what most of this stuff is, actually. Well, not the copper base plate, but most radiators are brass. And it won't do any kind of galvanic corrosion like people. All you want to do to prevent galvanic corrosion is you do not want to mix any sort of metals. Anyway, we're going to look at the fittings that I got for these builds. I got these for cheap. These are just barbs, and I'm going to have to use a zip tie or a hose clamp to screw them in. They aren't very nice looking, but they work, I guess. And for tubing, I got this. This is EK ZMT. I noticed a guy who has an awesome build, good overclocker too, and he had this, and I'm like, this is awesome. And I'm like, I need to get this stuff. It's very well built. It doesn't kink very easily. Even builds like this, it doesn't kink, which is very cool. See here, it has a pretty meh odor. It smells like brand new shoes. It's a bit hard to get your fittings on here, but you can. But you want to push this all the way down, and I'm going to be using that for that build if I do it. It's also fully rubber. It's called ZMT because it's zero maintenance tubing. I'm also going to be using this for an upcoming project where I replace the tubes of a Alpha Cool iSpare 420 with these, and I'm thinking I'm going to use the compression fittings in this kit also. And anyway, this has been a good video, and I would like to thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe, and then come join my Discord server and interact.